Salvatore Dani was considered a reject of the Knights Templar. At a young age, the boy showed promise with the sword, but sadly he had no affinity for magic. Many of the other aspiring knights in the academy looked down upon him. Days on end he trained outside, whether in the blazing heat, the pouring rain, the freezing cold, constantly practicing the swing of his sword. Every day, people watched him tirelessly working until he could no longer lift his arms. And even then, he continued to push past those limits. For Salvatore, he was viewed as the grunt of his generation. More often than not, he was sent on missions that were seemed undignified, beneath a Knight Templar proper. And he took his assignments without complaining. He never allowed his situation to dissuade him from his goals. For Salvatore, he had an unbreakable will, a spirit of fire that could not be contained. Some say that it drove him to madness, causing him to do things that no sane person would ever even attempt. Even those of his contemporaries who often shunned him couldn't help but be in awe of his bravado. The missions that he took, some thought they were suicide. Many thought that he would never return, but yet he always did. That confident smile etched across his face, always strolling through the halls, looking with his head held high. Salvatore had no shame in his ability, or lack thereof, even when it brought him into contact with a heretic god. Anyone in his position would have turned away. Even the god that he fought didn't blame him, assuring him that he would feel no dishonor in running. After all, he was at a disadvantage. It would almost be seen as disrespectful if the god were to take his life. But Salvatore stood firm. He raised his blade, and he ushered for the god to step forward. The wizard watched this. There was a small village towards the Middle East. They had been tormented by a god and his frugal use of his powers. Salvatore had been called to keep the peace, though, as many would coin the term, he was little more but cannon fodder. Other knights that had tried to step to this god had fallen, and Salvatore was believed to be no different, just someone that could be used to buy time for the people to escape. But Salvatore, with sword in hand, he climbed the mountainside to meet this god. For 10 days and 10 nights they battled. On the 10th day, Salvatore, he was tired, thirsty, hungry. He had bled profusely, and yet he still stood. The god, one who had never felt defeat, tasted fear, because there was something inside of him, something that kept him going. The wizard watched as Salvatore fought on nothing but determination and hope, his spirit being the only thing keeping his body to go forward. His muscles had long since given up on him. His bones had long since quit. It was through his spirit and will that he continued to move. But just before the god could strike him down, the wizard in that moment struck Salvatore, and he transformed. His body being renewed, his power being invigorated. He felt the force of magic that flowed within him. He had been chosen. A champion selected. He struck down the god tenfold and claimed the title of Campione. From then on, Salvatore chose to live his life to the fullest as a free man. His sense of adventure, his thirst of battle had not dulled, but rather it intensified. Sure, he could be irresponsible at times, much so, and some would question why the wizard would ever choose him. But contrary to popular belief, he had a heart that was noble to do what was right, even if he never showed it outwardly. And now Salvatore zoomed around the floating rock of eternity, his opponent the Man of Steel, as he claimed, the Superman. "I've heard stories about you," Salvatore said, "of your legendary feats of strength. A Kryptonian from a doomed world, raised here on Earth. It was said that you were the pinnacle of humanity, what they aspire to be. Though now, what have you become? Nothing more but a plaything, a mere whim to a worm. I must say it is pathetic." Superman said nothing. He only continued to fly towards Salvatore as their fight continued to ascend. It was easy to tell that he was under the influence. Whatever that worm had done, it had caused his mind to be melded and controlled. Perhaps he was going to have to beat some sense into him. For Salvatore, it was a chance for him to experience the power of the Superman, a power that could even rival that of the gods. And it was easy to see why. He had no affinity for magic, not an ounce of it within him, and yet his strength was sublime. The force of his punches, it felt like a heavy force of nature. There was no sensing, and yet Salvatore could feel himself being pushed. So much so that even he had to begin to use his divine authorities. Among them, the authority of the Man of Steel, which he got from defeating the Norse god Siegfried, making his body as hard as steel, but also as heavy as armor. Superman, however, was not deterred by Salvatore's use of magic, the two of them finding themselves dead even. "I can sense from within you," Salvatore said. "You radiate the energy of the sun. That's how it's done, isn't it? You draw your power from the sun itself. And you have stewed in its rays for almost 100 years. Your strength ages like fine wine. You continue to ferment, to grow more potent. Yes, you haven't reached your apex yet. No wonder why Kusanagi Godou was defeated. He didn't know what he was dealing with. But I do." Salvatore would call forth the authority of the ripping silver arm, the authority he gained from defeating the god Nuada. With this power, anything he held in his right arm would become as strong as the strongest sword, from a regular blade to even that of a toothpick, as Salvatore pulled his sword from his side. As he launched a slash towards Superman, he landed a deep scar on his chest, causing him to grunt in pain. "Even without magic, you are formidable. But it also works as a double-edged sword. You can't use magic, which means you have no protection against it either. It means I can hurt you." Meanwhile, Athena had her arms preoccupied dealing with the might of Athena, holding on to her sword as it clashed with Athena's scythe. The sword that Wonder Woman wielded, ironically, was called the Sword of Athena, which she had gained from her exploits in defeating the heretic god in the past. "As if my anger for you could not grow any farther, Diana," Athena said. "You have the audacity to wield my sword against me. I earned this sword through righteous combat. You remember when I defeated you. I underestimated you back then, a mistake I will not repeat. I will claim what is mine, and after I'm done with you, I'll make sure to finish off the rest of the Amazonians. Athena's rage would begin to be matched by that of Diana's at those words, the two of them clashing with one another, the strength of the Amazons flowing through her blood, clashing with that of the goddess Athena. Meanwhile, Dr. Savannah, within the walls of the Rock of Eternity, found himself being pinned against a new powerful force. Mr. Mind, using his magic, had summoned a new fighter to the field, a creation of his own design, a being known as Mr. Atom, a mystical robotic beast of a man, created and infused with mystic energy and with the powers of nuclear science. So this is what you've chosen to do in your free time, Savannah said, avoiding a direct blast from the robot. Building toys. What you refer to as a toy, Mr. Mind said. I refer to it as a marvel, the ultimate combination of science and magic, something you would know nothing about. Dr. Savannah would continue to fly around the robot, trying to figure out a way to defeat it. It was nigh invincible. The wizard watching on cautiously as he continued clutching onto his staff, using his magical power now to retain the barrier around the beast that was entrapped in the Rock of Eternity. Dr. Savannah, one who was known to have great potential in the magic world, born to the Crinjar family, it was believed that he would become the finest mage of them all. But then everything changed when he met his wife. She were an archaeologist and explorer. She came to be enveloped in this world of myth and magic. Of course, she were an outsider. Her title, Dr. Savannah. Of course, his family did not want him to have anything to do with her. She were of non-noble blood. There was nothing special about her in their eyes, but he felt different. Being around her, her spirit, her joy, her wonder, it made everything in the world so trivial. He truly loved her with all of his heart. It was by chance that the two of them had managed to discover a way to the Rock of Eternity. Even the wizard was surprised that mere humans could actually obtain such a feat, and for a time he was impressed. He answered their questions, their queries. They were given knowledge that many in the world would never be able to obtain. And for a while, they had found a true bliss, a happiness. But then everything changed when she grew ill. For a time, he tried to do everything in his power to save his wife, even going as far as to implore the wizard for help, but he could not assist. Her death, it was something that he could not accept. It drove a divide between the two of them. Adopting the name of his dead wife, he became known as Dr. Savannah. His goal, to bring her back, to warp all of reality, to make things as he wished it to be. But in pursuit of this goal, he came into conflict with the Wizards' chosen champion, Billy Batson. They fought on many of occasions, and in time, an intense rivalry and hatred began to form between the two of them. To the doctor, Billy Batson was nothing more but a mere child. A child who could not grip with what true reality was. A boy playing in the world of man. But for Batson, while he understood the pain of the doctor, his methods that he employed, they were wrong, endangering the world on many of occasions. Of course, it all came to an end. Much is not known about the death of Billy Batson, how it officially came to be. The only thing that history knows is that there was an event. Savannah and Batson had temporarily formed an alliance to do battle against an evil foe. Two walked in, one walked out with a dead body. The body of Billy Batson laid at the feet of the wizard. When news of this action came to light, Savannah was banished, disowned by his family. No magic society would accept him. He was labeled as a heretic Campione, an outcast even to the kings who they themselves were not bound by anyone. Savannah went into exile, and there he remained until now fighting on behalf of the wizard. "Why do you fight against me?" Mr. Mind said to Savannah. "I offered you this chance to join me. I could have given you everything you wanted. Revenge against the Crinjar family, rulership of the world and everything in it. Your wife, do not mention her to me, you parasite. You call me parasite. You who cling to the power of sin. You who wields the evil eye of sin. You who have betrayed everyone and everything in a vain attempt to define fate. And yet you have fallen short. You, the great Dr. Savannah, one who was forced to work with his enemy. You will always lose. You have lost then just as you will lose now. I will not be persuaded by your words, nor will I be deceived. You think you can play my wife's death against me? You are wrong. I'm not the same man I was back then. Her death serves a greater purpose. This world, everything that she fought for, that is why I live now. But is that all, Savannah? Is it just for your wife? Or is it for your child that you lost? Savannah glared, ready to squash the little bug once and for all, only for the robot to get in front of him. Mr. Adam continuing to blast at Savannah as he used magical barriers to shield himself. Don't you dare bring my child into this! Have I struck a nerve, Doctor? Yes, I believe I have. It wasn't just for your wife that you struggled. The child that you lost in the process. You tried to save both, but you could save neither. You had not the power then, the power that I offered to you now. Your power is evil, twisted, corrupted. Did I not give you what you wanted? We had a deal. For the death of Billy Batson, I would give you your family. That abomination that you brought forth, that was not my wife. nor was it my child. You who plays with the laws of nature. The laws do not bound me, Doctor. I am not bound by your notion of morality, for it does not exist. There is power. There are those who wield it and those who don't. Tell me, were you bound by your morality when you betrayed him? When you betrayed your family? No. You had no issue with your morality when you could gain what you wanted. You who holds the 7 deadly sins, a fitting punishment, for they reflect what you truly are. Your innermost desires, your inner darkness brought to life. You struggle in vain. And what for? To convince others or to convince yourself? Savannah, you and I are the same. We are selfish in nature. And tell me, what is wrong with that? Tell me, by what authority should you be bound? You, a Campione no less. A king who cannot be controlled, not by heaven or by hell. From the highest of heights to the lowest of lows, you alone stand. And now you limit yourself. You dare to preach to me. I've seen what's inside of your mind. All you want is destruction, from one world to the next. I am enlightened. There are many worlds far beyond our own, and this is the nexus point for them all. I want them all. All worlds under my rule, led by my mind. The battles would continue all around the Rock of Eternity. Diana continuing in her struggle against Athena. Salvatore fighting against Superman. Savannah trying to stave off Mr. Atom and Mr. Mind. The Wizard continuing to hold on to the 2 fragments of rock to keep the beast from escaping. Meanwhile, in Spirit World, Koenma was at his wit's end. He wasn't sure of how the battle was going to go, and the situation was only made worse when he appeared. Lord Koenma, Jotaro Kujo. Why call me by that name? That's not who I am. You might have others fooled, but not me. I know that the spirit of Jotaro Kujo still lives within that body, no matter how hard you try to suppress it. You may be able to take his face, take his form, but you can't take his spirit. You know that. I assume you're aware about the situation at the Rock of Eternity. Yes, of course I'm aware, and I know exactly why you're here also. But you don't have the authority to act, not yet. True. But I do not take orders from you. My orders come directly from King Yema. If the 3 faces of evil are to arrive on the earth, I am to take action. Take action? Why? The end of days have not come to pass. The prophecy of the darkest night is still... Do not tell me of the prophecy of the darkest night. I am well aware of it, as are you. And even if the prophecy has not come to pass, I must act in the best interest of the earth by destroying it. If that evil is allowed to spread into the rest of the universe, then no one will be able to stop it. Earth will become ground zero for Armageddon. At that point, I will have to act. I serve as the right hand of God. That may be, but the earth is under my protection. I will not allow it to be destroyed, not by anyone, especially on the whims of my father. You dare to stand against the king in order to do what is right? Yes, I will. So you can tell my father personally that until I feel that the situation is out of my hand, I will not allow you to act in my jurisdiction without my say-so. Koenma stood up to Jotaro. I'm not afraid of you. I can tell. For you to speak to me in such a manner. Very well then. I will make sure that the king is made aware of your words. But know this. If I am sent back again, I will not ask for permission. I will carry out my duties, and I will wipe out anyone who stands in my way. Do you understand, Your Highness? I do. And let me make it perfectly clear to you. If you wish to bring the age of darkness to Earth, you will have to kill me. I pray that that moment never comes. As Jotaro would leave, Koenma would slump back in his chair, rubbing his eyes. Oh, I can't believe I actually said that. Come on, kid. Wherever you are, hurry up and get back. I know I put a lot on the next generation. Perhaps too much. Maybe I'm wrong for having faith in the youth. But someone has to step up. Please. I'll buy you as much time as I can. But wherever you are, Kusanagi Godou, we need you. As Jotaro walked away, a vestige, the silhouette of a spirit, would begin to form around him as they stopped midway in the halls of the palace of Koenma. You're rather hasty, aren't you? Jotaro said. So you've actually gained control once again. We had a deal, remember? I give you my body as a host. That doesn't mean you get to go around and act freely for the both of us. I don't operate on your behalf. I operate on behalf of King Yema. Or have you forgotten the deal that you made to save your daughter's life? I know what deal I made with you, Spectre. But this is a joint operation. I won't let you destroy the world my daughter lives in. Otherwise, my sacrifice was for nothing. What other choice do we have? If the three faces of evil are allowed to escape, if it descends upon the world, your daughter is as good as dead. Don't give me that bullshit. It ain't over till it's over. And even then, there's always another way. You humans, always trying to defy fate, though I'm not surprised given who your family are. The Joestars. Time and time again, you continue to make the most illogical of decisions. What can I say? We're stubborn like that. Fine. If you want to wait, that's all well and good. But tell me, Can you weigh the life of your daughter versus the lives of billions? I'm not weighing anyone's lives. If everyone can be saved, then they deserve a chance to be saved. And you would put your faith in the kid, someone you barely know. I know all that I need to know. So like I said, we're going to wait. Your spirit is strong, Jotaro. But know this. When your conviction wavers, when doubt creeps into your mind, when your resolve is gone, I will not hesitate to act. Consequences be damned. You'll do what you have to do. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna stop you. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Maria, Liliana, and Toma were preparing to make a portal way to the netherworld, hoping that they could try to drag Erica and Godou out of it, to bring them back home, and to try to assist in any way they could in stopping the end of the world. As the girls were preparing the barrier, a new figure would appear. A girl dressed like a student that went to their school. Short silver hair with a knitted kitten-like hat. She staggered towards them as Liliana would shield Maria, ready to draw her sword. "Be careful! It's Athena! She's back!" "No, you have it wrong. I'm not that Athena." "You're not that Athena? What are you talking about? You can't deceive us." "Wait," Toma said. "Can't you feel it?" "Feel what?" "That presence. The rock of eternity. It hangs above us even now, invisible in the skies above." "You're right," Maria would say. "The presence of Athena can also be felt in the sky, as well as before us." "No, why are there two Athenas?" "There's a lot to explain," the smaller Athena said. "But right now, I'm here to help you." "Help with what?" "To bring back Kusanagi Godou. Please, we must act now, or all will be lost." This concludes Campione, Fury of the Gods. What If Godou Kusanagi Was Shazam? Season 3, Part 6. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. And stay tuned next time as we continue with Campione, Fury of the Gods. What If Godou Kusanagi Was Shazam? Season 3, Part 7. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.